Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Azothane. The blueprint for Azothane can be obtained from Teshin's cave for 50 Pathos Clamp, which is the resource you get by fighting the Oro Worm. And to build it, you're gonna have to put in 30,000 credits, 5 more fangs, 30 rune marrow, 40 Yeo shrubs, and 100 Sagan pearls. The Azothane is a 200 Nikana that doesn't have a mastery rank requirement, which is awesome, and it does primarily slash damage with still a decent chunk of impact and puncture. It also comes with an excellent 34% crit chance, an amazing 3x crit multiplier, and a solid 22% status chance, and it's decently fast with a base attack speed of 1.17, and it has good range at 3.2. What's also important here are the heavy attack stats. So we have 1020 damage, which is good, slam radius of 8, which is pretty standard, and a wind up of 0.7. The reason this is important is because heavy or 200 Nikanas are one of the best melee weapons for heavy attack builds because they come with a forced slash proc. On top of all of that, the Azothane has a unique mechanic which comes in the form of a special block combo where you stab the Nikana into the ground and then you pull it out, which causes a shockwave that does heat damage and forces impact procs. This special combo is, at the time of recording of this video at least, absolutely worthless because it doesn't scale with anything, so it does very little damage. Now, since you can get this whenever basically, let's check out the basic setup first, which is going to be something like this: pressure point for damage, true steel for crit chance, organ shatter for crit damage, and then reach for range. Now, while the best way to utilize this weapon is via heavy attacks for that forced slash proc, it's gonna be really slow at first, so I would highly recommend you upgrade into Amalgam Organ Shatter or get Killing Blow first so you get some heavy attack wind-up speed to speed them up. You can of course use the weapon normally with the light attacks, but the heavy attacks are so very strong, even with the basic setup like this, it would be a crime not to use them. Like, if you manage to get this weapon early on in your Warframe journey, you're gonna be one-shotting everything on the star chart and probably a decent amount of enemies in sorties as well, even with just this basic setup. Though at that point you should probably be upgrading into a build like this instead. Now, this setup is very flexible. It's running Sacrificial Pressure and Steel for damage and crit chance, Amalgam Organ Shatter for crit damage and wind-up speed, Dispatch Overdrive for movement speed on heavy attack, Corrupt Charge to keep us at 2x combo, Spring-Loaded Blade and Primed Reach for as much range as possible, and then Killing Blow for heavy attack damage and wind-up speed. Now, if you want to be really sweaty, you can take out either Spring-Loaded Blade or Dispatch Overdrive and run a Primed Smite mod instead, which will give you a lot more damage, but with these kinds of weapons, you generally don't need that, because this setup in particular has enough damage to kill an Acolyte with 1 or 2 slash procs, so you don't necessarily need to put in more damage, and you can run utility instead to make the weapon feel better. This is an endgame weapon through and through, and if you like heavy attack builds, this might be the only weapon you will ever need. It's really strong. So you should get this regardless of whether you're a new player or a veteran. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.